What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So after the stream yesterday that the developers done over on Twitch by Phil and Andy, well, we got loads and loads of new information and an insight as to what's coming to this game in the very near future. Now, the joke and the meme was on the stream is that Phil essentially has what people are calling a bladder problem, as essentially he accidentally almost leaked certain things, which was very interesting to say the least. Now, as always, go ahead and drop a like. Let's try and crush 6 likes. Go ahead and click that big red subscribe button below if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments below what you really want to see in this game. Just one thing that you can add that could be added into the game tomorrow. What would you want it to be and why? Let me know in the comments below. Now, I do want to start off this video by saying, with the recent small update that was over on PlayStation 4 and Xbox, there was a feature that a lot of people didn't know was essentially in the game, and the thing is, it wasn't in the game before until this patch, right? Literally in the last couple of days. Now, what's really interesting is that the devs have listened to the community feedback, because now you can officially reflect Iron Man's beam right off Captain America's shield and essentially do damage on another enemy. Now, what's really cool is this post that you see on screen that somebody posted on Reddit that says, "I thought it was cool that Captain America can also reflect the laser from the war robot." Now, this is absolutely incredible. And again, I didn't think it would be with the war robot. I genuinely thought it would just be with Iron Man. But this is really cool, because maybe, just maybe, there could be some type of thing that gets implemented now in the future where you can essentially upgrade your shield specifically to either be able to reflect these beams for a certain amount of time, or essentially be able to take much bigger beams like you would from a war robot, as opposed to just reflecting Iron Man's beam, for example. But nonetheless, I think it's great that they have listened to the community, because look, it's safe to say this definitely 100% was a feature that we've all been calling for a very long time since the game was launched. So it's really cool that it's in the game, so go ahead and try it out if you haven't already, because it definitely is just a blast. Now, diving into the information and the new info, should I say, that was dropped in this stream. Now, I do want to give a quick big shout out to Miller as always, because what he done is just essentially, I guess, highlight the key things that were mentioned. Now, I'm going to start out with Phil actually stating that loadouts are coming and they are scheduled, but he doesn't have an exact timing for that. So loadouts are coming and they're scheduled. If I really had to say it, I'm going to say probably maybe, I mean, it's a long shot, right, saying March time, and it will make sense why I'm going to say this, because again, we're going to go through the other information. Now, first of all, well, second of all, should I say, the next gen release date should be confirmed soon. Now, this is where the meme came in that Phil has a bladder problem, because essentially he mentioned two things. So first of all, that he did see something regarding the next gen release date, and second of all, how he did also see something regarding an emote wheel, and that is a big thing, right? Because that's another community feedback idea that is essentially going to be implemented. So these are two things that Phil almost unintentionally just dropped, but saying that the next gen release date should be confirmed soon definitely has me excited, because is early 2021 going to be a huge year for this game in terms of announcements? It definitely does feel that way. Now, there are lots of fixes in the works, right? But Cloning Lab is still being worked on, but what he says, quote unquote, is something else is coming sooner. Now, Cloning Labs, like I said in the past, right, it really is one of those things that we kind of thought were going to be, if not this weekend, next weekend, then the following weekend, but now we've almost got used to just not expecting Cloning Labs. But if something else is coming sooner than Cloning Labs, I wonder what it could be. My bets are on Hawkeye's DLC, but you guys let me know what you think it could be in the comments below, because you wouldn't just say something else is coming sooner if it's going to be like a random patch, right? So surely has to be some new content, and if it is, like I basically keep saying for the last couple of videos, it would definitely be Hawkeye. But let me know in the comments below. And the next one is a really interesting thing, right? Because it's something we've spoke about, you know, in the past, right, on the Avengers game show, where we were talking about being able to have vehicles as a transportation, right? And we were saying, for example, when it comes down to people like Captain America having a motorcycle, etc, etc. Now, this is kind of that situation, except it's reversed, because Phil says that vehicles for enemies and not heroes was actually once a thing. Now, it could still happen, but he specifically points out that the AIM trucks littered around certain maps were essentially, you know, these vehicles of transportation for these enemies. So again, I don't know what type of situation it would have been where, if, for example, rather than random enemies run towards you, they would have actually just pulled up in one of those big, I guess, AIM trucks. That could have been a situation, I have no idea, but if that isn't, I couldn't really think of another way, but I think it would have been cool if we could actually just jump into an AIM truck and try and run some robots over as well. I think that would have definitely made that gameplay experience a little bit more fun, but if it could still happen, it definitely has my interest, because what other sorts of vehicles are out there that could go well with these enemies? I know there's a long list, especially when it comes down to flying vehicles, so that's going to be really interesting. Now, what he also says is that extremely early in development, Iron Man could actually summon a drone, which again is one of those things where you're like, why did they actually decide to remove this? Who was the person that said, hey, let's remove the feature where Iron Man could summon a drone? I don't know who it was, but I mean, it's a crazy decision to make. But guys, let me know in the comments below on that. Now, the third to last thing is that Cap and Hulk traversal update is actually being worked on, and that the power level cap increase will actually come alongside a content drop. Again, no ETA on that, but again, I'm expecting that to be maybe January, maybe February, after Hawkeye's DLC. That's just my theory on that. Now, the last thing is that Phil says that new content before the end of the year is unlikely, because now the team officially goes on holiday break at the end of next week. Now, this does not actually preclude the possibility of another patch or other fixes or minor improvements during that period, but as far as new content goes, we're not getting anything now. This is going to wrap up 2020 for this game, but I really do think they're going to come in strong when it comes down to January for this game. Just going based on the next gen release date being out there and all that kind of good stuff, because we know the next gen release date is essentially, you know, the relaunch of this game as well. But guys, leave your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. It's definitely some interesting information, especially regarding the something else is coming sooner before cloning labs, and the fact, you know, that vehicles were a thing for enemies way before, and you know, it could actually still happen. So definitely some interesting stuff. But guys, it's going to wrap up this video here. As always, subscribe for more awesome content, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.